Hey, how's it going? Today is 10th of August, Saturday, and we're taking a look at the market and what kind of opportunities we can find, and let's try to understand some of the issues happening, right? Since soon there's gonna be a new year of students going to pursue different subjects, right? Let's touch on what I believe would be important and get my recommendations for students, right? So first we can try to understand what STEAM stands for. So definition, if we were to begin from definition, we can acknowledge what kind of issues currently being faced within UK, how to address those issues. So if there would be way more students, I guess perhaps we can solve some of those problems way better and faster, right? And people will have what to do, right? So STEAM that would be science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? And there's more additional information that can STEAM importance, innovation and economic growth, critical thinking and problem solving, career opportunities, and global challenges, right? Uh, since we kind of understand what STEAM is, we can progress some of these articles that we were taking a look at previously. And from there, we can progress and take a look at student numbers in UK. Previously, we were taking a look at it might be something there about women when it comes to Bristol Bridge Master wants more women in engineering, right? Some of these articles that we were reading previously, something that was published beginning of July, the previous month, and that would be potentially some of the issues that would be only 10% of women are in engineering. Hopefully, we can address that by increasing interest in some of these subjects with equal balance. That would be 50-50 if we were to take a look at gender, right? But from there, let's take a look at not only education and what people interest might be, because everyone's different, right? We can take a look at perhaps student numbers. There's a lot of things happening. Let's take a look at some of the press releases and that was published recently. Yesterday, that will be a number applying for work and or studying in UK falls by more than a third. People seeking skills, worker, health and or care study visas dropped to 91, just over 91,000 in July after curbs introduced by there's a different potentially different government for anything we already do understand. I don't know. I can delve deeper briefly, and we can try to understand this entire article. And UK's government perhaps looking to source professionals, depending what kind of professionals they're looking to source. But they might be care or health sector. But myself, I'm only interested in STEAM subjects, right? Potentially skills that no expertise that you can scale. Care sector, I don't. There's a lot of things happening in care sector, right? But it's very hard to scale how many people you can look after, how many things you can build. You can easily scale that. Or how many people you can look after at once? Perhaps five, maybe 10. Let's say 50 people, right? If you're a teacher and or if you're a care worker, right? But how many things you can build at once? You can build a lot of things at once. So, but either way, let's take a look at this article about how it's just not necessarily we're gonna have enough time to read the entire article, but that really dropped in interest in pursuing some of the skills. That really overall numbers of people applying for come to UK as skilled workers, healthcare workers or to study has fallen from 143,000 in July last year to 91.3 thousand in July this year, dropped off 36%, right? So that's where things are. So now perhaps people and all the additional measures that where the government themselves are looking to reduce perhaps some of those numbers. But if anything, from there, it's something I think I have pointed out previously when it comes to manufacturing. We can take a look at briefly where UK is when it comes to manufacturing, and will try to stick with the STEAM subjects, right? In manufacturing. Let's take a look at different articles since that previous article perhaps was taking a look at only health and care sector, right? Myself, I mean, and we taking a look at. I'm reading all this information for the first time. That would be a case is dramatic decline in students and work visas of applicants. So that's why I'm interested in understanding, right? So if we were to take a look at perhaps entire sector and how many people or how less people because of difficulties, government increased difficulties. So let's try to understand how many less people are applying for work and study in UK. So let's try to understand. Hopefully, we can take a look at different data now, right? In the first half of 2024, there was 16% fewer applicants to study visas than the same time period in 2023. Before the changes came in, should be noted true that most people tend to apply between July and or September, meaning it won't be until later this year the full effect is measured, right? Okay, that's great, right? So roughly, so it's that's students, and then students potentially applying for. Is it last second? One's doing everything for last second. But either way, so roughly the numbers can be either 15 or 16%, perhaps up to 20%, but all the numbers would be in a little bit later, which is great. We can take a look at some of this information later, right? We can take a look at perhaps since in this article we take a look at education. So UK have dropped perhaps even some articles suggest that UK now has a 12th place. Since we take a look at education and STEAM subjects, we can briefly take a look at what kind of information is available online. That is skill gaps in the educational system. Decline in manufacture has been influenced by skill gaps and inequality in education systems to meet industry demand. As technology evolves rapidly, the demand of highly skilled workers has increased. However, the education system has not always aligned with those changing requirements, resulting in stronger or shortage of workers with necessary technical expertise. This mismatch has hindered the growth of manufacturing sector, not only in the UK but in other nations as well. And that would be, I believe, we can take a look at other governments. Perhaps maybe that's a better perspective to have. So if UK dropped from top 10 to perhaps 11 or 12 place, we can take a look at other governments and how many STEAM graduates other governments would have, and we can compare those graduates' performance according to top rankings, right? We can take a look at some of the studies after the global distribution of STEAM graduates. What countries lead the way? Something that was published November 27, 2023, that we discover how global landscape of STEAM graduates is shifting, potentially reshaping a future of innovation and education worldwide. This blog post analyzes recent education data from countries with the most graduates in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In other words, STEAM subjects. For each of the top 11 countries by number of STEAM graduates, we present the total number of STEAM graduates as well as STEAM graduates as percentage of total graduates in 2020. I don't think UK is on the list. Perhaps UK should be on the list, but the subjects themselves, perhaps they're hard, all those kind of things, right? And or perhaps people are just interested in pursuing other things, right? Well, we can take a look at percentage of total graduates in STEAM fields after 2020, after China, Russia, Germany, Iran, India, France, Mexico, United States, Indonesia, Japan, and Brazil. And as well as we can take a look at I don't know who was people who was doing this research work, right? So perhaps they had their own agendas, but either way. Since, as I mentioned, UK is not on the list, right? Perhaps some different statistics that people are taking a look at. UK might be there, I guess. But this particular statistics, I don't have bias. I just know that currently UK is dropping out of top tens, and perhaps there's some issues to be addressed, right? As well as we can take a look at different statistics after the top countries by number of STEAM graduates, and again, after China, India, United States, Russia. Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, France, Germany, Iran, and Japan, right? Again, UK is not at list, but either way, perhaps it's worth concerning factor. Perhaps as well as new government should take a look at the sector, in particular when it comes to engineering, when it comes to building houses and all manufacturing should be important. But again, prices in the UK when it comes to energy prices and perhaps technology, all these kind of sectors and all supporting systems. I don't know if those supporting systems are in the UK or it's better to do it outside UK. It might be better to do it outside UK, right? Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.